What up, y'all? Welcome to Randomville episode 2. We coming to you from all parts of the world. We're still on quarantine, separated, keeping it live, keeping it fresh, not trying to infect nobody. I got Moses and John. Hopefully soon we'll get Jordy back, get on this podcast. But we're trying to change up the format. We got a little screen sharing, but we're gonna kick it off on sports like we always do. So the biggest thing that's happened lately was that Last Dance documentary about Jordan. It's about 6 episodes. But we had about 1, 2, 3, 4 up to this point about the Last Dance documentary. So just trying to get you guys' opinion. Everybody's seen it. We don't really need to talk about Jordan specifically. But there's a lot of opinions going out there kind of about the side pieces that aren't being talked about in the documentary. So one of the things I got to ask you is his greatest, most famous known teammate, Scottie Pippen, right? Household name. Everyone knows who Scottie Pippen is. It's no doubt. But is Pippen who Pippen is without Jordan?
Oh, man. Without Jordan? I don't know, man. Pippen, he had his own style of play, but at the same time, I mean, he basically had like Jordan's left brain. You know what I mean? Like he mimicked what Jordan as a leader wanted, you know, like that's hard to.
Let's just say Jordan comes into the league still. Jordan comes in the league still, no doubt, but he doesn't go to the Bulls, or Pippen is not on the Bulls.
Okay. See, there we go.
Different team. Jordan comes in the league, doesn't go to the Bulls. Pippen's the only one. Is Pippen the Hall of Famer he is now without Jordan being his teammate?
I think the athleticism is always there, but like when you but like you said in the Last Dance, like he was kind of like a shy kind of player. Like he wasn't too aggressive, but like when he started practicing with Jordan and actually started being brought up in that same competitiveness, then it kind of made him a dog too. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like he was brought up in that world. And where he had to compete with somebody like Jordan. He had to go practices against Jordan.
Yeah.
And kind of, you know, and kind of got encouraged by Jordan to like be more aggressive and actually like fight back and all that stuff. Because prior to that, like they showed him, and I didn't know this as a kid. I was just watching, you know, Pippen and Jordan like in the later years, like their last runs and stuff. But
97.
Yeah, 97, 96. But yeah, like I think the athleticism is there, but I don't think he'd be like the same like type of competitor without Jordan.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. For him to not have that injection from Jordan, you know, I don't see Pippen as much as, I don't know, I wouldn't even say Clyde. You know what I mean? Like not even as good as that.
Yeah.
But Jordan Pippen, he was the second best player in the league when him and Jordan was getting off, you know? So
that's one thing I think about Pippen is what you guys are saying. Jordan kind of raised the bar for him. Saying, "You're gonna be my number 2. You got to be, you know, you can't stay here underneath me. You got to be one-on-one."
Yeah, 100%.
I honestly think if he doesn't have Jordan, I mean, he would still be a great player. And what I see now about the NBA Hall of Fame, everybody gets in the NBA Hall of Fame. But not to take away the credit of Hall of Fame, but I still think he would probably be an all-star, maybe a Hall of Fame ballot down the road.
I agree.
But I still don't think I don't think he becomes a household name. Like you would know him, kind of like Hakeem Olajuwon or
Yeah.
He wouldn't be like the famous name like Shaq or even like Charles Barkley. You
Yeah.
can't say like Jordan.
He wouldn't be.
Jordan,
He wouldn't be Reggie Miller. He wouldn't.
Yeah.
Be, yeah.
So I think he's still a good player. I think he still has the all-star caliber. I think on a team without Jordan, he probably makes the all-star team just because he would probably
because of his athleticism, like John had mentioned. I see that.
He's a beast. He's a pure fucking athlete.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So, but on Pippen too, it was mentioned that it's a common stat that Pippen actually made more money out of the NBA. We all know Jordan's just Jordan and his brand. Right? Yeah, but just on salary alone, Pippen actually made more money.
I saw that.
Now the one thing that you have to take away from that, I believe, is Jordan retired like on his prime. Like he just said, "I'm leaving the game of basketball," and yeah, he had
Mace.
He had other motives to get out of the game, but he eventually did come back. So is Jordan's retirement the only reason why Pippen has that stat that he made more money during his NBA career?
Well, his stock had to have been crazy high once Jordan left the game. Like, was he the guy behind the scenes the whole time? Like, people were probably thinking that about him. Like, like he never won a ring without Pippen too. So,
see, I was gonna say the same. Let's say if it was vice versa. Let's say if Pippen retired and Jordan stayed on the Bulls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, would Jordan?
What would happen?
You know what I mean? Like that's something crazy to think about. But on the other hand, like, you got to answer that question. I mean, like I said earlier, like Pippen has like a Jordan injection in him, and at that time you couldn't be a star unless you were just that close to Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, to his dominance and his his style of play. And at that point in time, the only player who you can really think about who was dominant is Pippen, Jordan's right hand man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think at that point in time, he was worth it. You know what I mean? With Jordan leaving, if Jordan was in the game, his value would have changed.
That's true. And they all knew they weren't going to play with each other no more.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's another thing to think about too. Yeah.
No, definitely. I definitely think because Jordan left, it was kind of a his time to shine kind of thing with Pippen, and because of the things we've already talked about, like his athleticism, that extra piece that kind of got instilled playing with like the best known player in the history of NBA, and that's a later debate if you want to get into that. But the greatest of all time, Jordan, him having to live up to that level, granted he did bounce around, but he was still like an amazing player, and you can't take away from him.
Yeah, he is basketball. He's the one who set off. Like, he is actually the one who put star in All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He started having commercials. He started having his shoes. His shoes was way ahead of his time. You know what I mean? His deal was crazy. Adidas fucked up. You know what I mean? Even Converse too, because if I'm not mistaken, I think he had sat down with Converse first. And
did he?
He sat down with Adidas and then Nike. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how it went down.
Then the other two fucked up. Well, you saw what Converse. You saw what Converse had, right? They had Magic. They had Larry.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like he went outside of the box and did his own thing and really turned himself into a star. But credit to what was his agent's name? Falk.
Yeah.
It was something Falk. Yeah, he really put him on blast because black players didn't really have that ability to hold on to something that was theirs and they were able to sell. You know what I mean? And I think that there was like a tennis player or something like that that had a tennis racket that
and shoes too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Shoes too, that's right. Yeah.
That's who that guy managed, right? Like a whole bunch of tennis talent.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Jordan he had brought in the All-Star thing, and that shit took off. The dunk contest, all that.
Yeah,
all
that's
that
true,
stuff.
man. Because you guys always had the rivalry between Magic and Bird, but like those are like two individuals that like were up against each other. Celtics versus Lakers, but you never had like a guy, just build it like on his own and start becoming like his own individual, like as a big all-star.
It wasn't off like because he handled anybody. He took on anybody. He took on anybody and won. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I think that's one of the
finals,
I think that's one of the things that's missing nowadays, right? I understand you got a game plan. I understand you got coaching. I understand you got teammates, but you hardly ever see like the top dog want to go every round with the best player on the other team, right?
Yeah.
Never. I mean, they'll go, maybe a play here or there, or they'll guard him half the game. But you'll never see anybody just like call him out, like let me get him. You'll never see like I know it's two different positions, but like LeBron be like let me get Steph, right? Like
you don't see that.
You'll never see in closer positions. You'll never see LeBron and be like let me get Kawhi.
Yeah.
Because
I've never seen that. I
don't want that smoke.
He don't want that. He don't want them problems.
So I think that's a credit to that era and even the end of that. Even the end of that era where Jordan was even on the Wizards is where he showed everyone if you want to be number one, every team you got to take number one. Like you got to go up to their number one player and be like, don't worry about it.
I miss that, man. I miss that. I really do.
Yeah.
I miss that. But I mean, like, the game changed, man. The game changed, and I mean, I'm not gonna say the game changed because of the Warriors.
No. So great transition. Speaking of the Warriors, Draymond Green was recently on all the smoke. Great show. Love it. Love watching it. I love the guests they have on it. I love the talks they have. But Draymond Green said, first off, that specifically himself, Steph and Clay were the big three, and they changed the landscape of basketball. Let's focus on that first statement. What do y'all think is true on that one? Or do you think it's true or false?
I don't think so. Like I think that's false because the big three, I think when you think of like the big three, like the most infamous, like as of recent days, is like when KG and Ray Allen came to Boston, right? But like you kind of, that's what kind of started like that whole trend and like people coming in and whatever he was doing to get them that 73 win season they couldn't complete in the finals. Like how could you call yourself a big three if you couldn't shut it down and you needed a fourth to
exactly
like not just a fourth, but better than any player on your team. You got somebody that's better than everybody on your team, and KD. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yep.
In terms of changing the game, that's big change in the game. If you're
you're
best person.
you're not talking about just getting another role player.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
KD
arguably top 3
in the league, right?
in the league.
Right?
Yeah,
Not
even sitting on the bench right now.
Not putting a rank on it. Not putting a rank on it. But you got LeBron, you got Kawhi, and KD. And then you got some that can intertwine in there, right? Like
Giannis.
Steph. Those can interchange. But you're talking about somebody who can interchange in the top 3 of the league. That's who you need to add to your team to
dominate.
overcome.
And just dominate. Not just add a couple points here and there. Like, nah, he's like the main player now. Like,
yeah.
I don't see I don't know.
So aside from Draymond, out of those 3 players, I definitely think Steph and Klay themselves did change kind of the landscape of basketball, and not just NBA.
Those two, yes.
Yeah. So
So
my thing is, like, you see it now. Like, you're a high school kid who could shoot a 3-pointer, and I'm talking about you could shoot the 3 ball accurate. You know, out of high school, you almost already getting picked up by a D1 school your junior year. Like you're being asked to commit before you even get close to be graduating. And I think that's attributing to Steph and Klay showing people how valuable that is nowadays.
That's true.
Yeah.
But Draymond ain't got nothing to do with that.
Nah, he ain't had nothing to do with them long range threes and shit.
No.
Like,
what about his comment? What about his comment on the whole on the Shaq and Kobe pick and roll situation? Like, honestly, see, I think that a player's mentality is what really defines his character. His character and his respect in basketball. You know what I mean? And for a player to say that we had changed the game. I mean, you're comparing yourself to Jordan and Pippen, Magic and Larry Bird, and like for Draymond to put that situation as
it doesn't make sense.
Like, we changed the game. No, man, you guys lost the finals 3-1.
You know what it is. You know what
in
it
a
is,
great
right?
season. Success is only defined by the moment that you are successful. Right? Yeah, the way that Phil Jackson is sitting. And ever since he said that, man, I started thinking about the Warriors just even that more like differently, you know? Like, that's very true, man.
I think what Draymond's doing is just trying to stay relevant, bro, because when's the last time, like, once KD left and once all them injuries started happening with them, like Steph's injury, Klay's injury, like, they became like the biggest turnaround. Like, you were in the finals last year and you're not even making the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's just trying to stay relevant.
You know what's even worse is when Steph went out and because Klay was out, you think you would be number 1 on the team, the most talked about. But last season, it's actually this season, when they still had D'Lo on the team, he was the most talked about person.
They had rookie that was more talked about than
Draymond,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that rookie was doing numbers.
And it's kind of questionable how Draymond came out with injury, just because, like, how bad they were doing and how bad he was doing.
Yeah, all of a sudden he was injured.
All of a sudden you're injured too. Like, I don't even remember seeing you coming out the game. Like, now you just injured out of nowhere. But I mean,
let me read off some of his averages during the last couple of years. Like, let's put it back to 2014. Games played 79. 31 minutes, 11 points, 44% field goal, 8 rebounds and 3 assists, 1 steal and 1 block. He's a like he began his career as a role player, and then let's see in like 2018. Let's go 4 years ahead of that. It was 66 games, 7 points, 44% field goal, a 28% three point if that even matters. Seven rebounds and 6 assists and 1 steal and 1 block. He barely changed. He barely changed in 4 years. You know what I mean? Like how are you gonna put yourself in any kind of greatness conversation?
What?
If that's your stat line, you know what I mean? Like,
what highlights do you see of Draymond other than him like kicking somebody in the balls or like,
ripping
somebody in the jar?
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck?
I mean, as a player, I mean, yeah, I could criticize him, but I mean, he's a pro, right?
I mean, no, I
pro in
I
the proper
agree.
situation, right? That's about it. He's a pro.
He's a pro. He's a great role player, and because Steph and Clay and even KD when he was on the team draw so much attention and makes him shine. And granted, he's good enough to capitalize on that, right? There's a lot of people who have the opportunity, who play with some all-stars, who play with some future Hall of Famers, who even when they get the opportunity, they still can't capitalize. They don't got the shot, they don't got the nerve, but they play their role, right? They provide that 6-8 points off the bench, 3 rebounds, whatever. And then there's the people who come off and are like the sixth man, and they play like a starter. They get the points. Every once in a while, they'll have that 20-something point game, that 30-point game. He's that guy, and he does good at it. But to include himself in this conversation of something that's more than that is just ridiculous to me.
Out of hand, Draymond. Yeah.
Hey, I know we're gonna go into this like down the line, but like speaking of like, you know, knowing your role and whatever, but you know how Rodman was portrayed in The Last Dance, how he had games where he would have 0 points and just have like 28 boards and like shit like that. You know what I mean?
That's playing
like,
your role.
Those are the kind of numbers like that you got to put up for you to even be talking about like greatness. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. Exactly.
Draymond's not putting up any type of fucking numbers like that. Like,
he's just running around the court and catching ball, passing it, and
6 kicks.
Yeah.
3 punches.
No, but and what you just said, think about Rodman and those numbers and those stat lines and what he did with the teams he played for, right? But he's still not. Rodman is not in any conversation on being like one of the greatest players.
And true.
He comes up when you talk. He comes up when you're talking specific things like boards, being tough. Yeah, but if you say, you know, give me your top 20, give me your top 50, he's close, but you're not going to get his name in that lineup.
Yeah, he's not going to get his mention. Yep.
And so to say for Draymond to come with his game and think he's anything above that is just ridiculous. Like he's out of line. And
he must have thought like he was doing something else. You know what I mean? Like in his mind, he was like, "Dang, like I did that.
I won that title.
I won that title."
Yeah, he said, "Hey,
see that ring? That ring? I won that."
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it's like, to win a championship, but I mean, it seems like his head kind of blew up from that. So, I mean, I don't know if that's how it feels, if like your head blows up a little bit. I mean, I don't see myself being that way, but hey, by all means, represent your shit, boo boo.
Shit, let me win the title. I'll change up on y'all.
Yeah. I think in Draymond's head, he knows he's just talking shit. You know what I mean?
He is.
Yeah. No, I definitely think
he's been getting trolled. He gets trolled all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Charles Barkley forever bullying that man.
Yeah, and I think he's just entertaining the situation. He doesn't want to back off. You know what I mean? Because if you back off in those kind of situations,
you're like, I lost.
You're like, what do you feel like? You know?
Yeah.
He could be like JaVale and get his mom on Shaq. You know.
JaVale.
All right, I miss Shaq in the 4. That was a good segment.
Yeah, I know. That was just poetry, man. If you ask me.
I miss everything about fucking basketball.
I know.
God damn.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait. I hope they start.
It was supposed
to be looking at gone fishing photos right now.
I know.
Right?
You know,
yeah.
You know what we're supposed to be looking at is the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference.
In the West.
Yeah. That, man, I was excited about that, man.
Yeah, no. Hopefully they pick it up. You know, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I definitely think they should at least try to finish out the season with some kind of format. But not to drag on that and be too sad about the NBA. So we gonna move on. NFL draft was recent. They did their virtual draft. It was kind of like a Zoom meeting, but with 32 teams. And I think they disrespected some teams. I definitely think you could find 12 fans that would be on Zoom during this. But I think there's some purposely shot outs that they took at some teams.
The Brady Bunch had more people in their
Hey, did you guys see Roger Goodell get booed out anyway, even though it was a virtual
draft? They were actually talking about that beforehand. Like, I wonder if they're gonna play, like, they're gonna bring in crowd noise just to see.
They don't give that dude a break, man.
Hell no. But so some good picks in the first round. In the first round, some good picks. But
definitely,
I feel like we'll do a disservice to Mr. Joe Burrow if we don't talk about him. Number 1 pick. Everyone knew it was coming. He knew it from like 4 months ago. He won the national championship, and I think he knew right away he was going to Cincy. So we all know what happened. You know what happens in Cincy. A lot of close calls, a lot of first-round exits. But is Joe Burrow and the Bengals doomed? Like some other teams we know, just some doomed. Let's just say, I don't know, the Browns. Just seems like no matter who they pick, it's just not going to work out for them. Or is this a new era for Cincy with them picking a new QB1?
My opinion is, I mean, I kind of compare Burrow to Luck, to Andrew Luck in a sense, like one of the best college players to ever play the game. You know what I mean? But going on a team like Cincy with what they've been through, their feet are sore right now. You know what I mean? Traveling through the trenches like that, man. I mean, I always have respect for a team that just can't, just get over the hump, because we can kind of relate as Charger fans. You know what I mean? So that's something that I respect. And getting Burrow is a big deal. You know what I mean? But it's not going to be a big deal in the first season. I see him playing smart. I kind of see him in his first season as like a Trubisky, but just a little more smarter. You know what I mean? A little more intelligent when it comes, to making plays. You know what I mean? And I don't see him like coming out just right out, the gate, because I feel like they still have problems within the coaching that has to be handled before Burrow can really take off. Like, that quarterback coach might not be what Burrow needs. You know what I mean? And that's usually the case when it comes to rookies. Like, you don't it's pretty rare to see a rookie quarterback come out and take over a team that was shitty for the last fucking what? How long has it been since they've been in the playoffs, man? Like,
I think it's only been a few years that they haven't been in the playoffs, but I think Andy Dalton's a chronic first round exit. I know they don't have any wins in the playoffs. I think that's their stat is they've been there, but they haven't gotten past round one.
And that's always a coaching thing, man. When it comes to those kind of situations, it's usually a coach thing because if you've made it that far, you're supposed to be able to, beat a couple teams in the playoffs.
My thought on Joe Burrow here is Joe Burrow and Cincy's gonna have a top 10 pick next year. That's how I say it. Great quarterback. I like the comparison to Luck. I like the I'm not so hung up on Trubisky since I'm not a fan of Trubisky at all. I think he was a little overhyped in Chicago, but I think Joe Burrow himself can play smart enough to keep them relevant. But I think it actually benefits them if they play it out, fill out the field with what kind of player Joe Burrow is going to be in the pros, but not push it too hard, right? That's kind of the Browns MO, right? So we're gonna get number one pick and we're gonna make a playoff run. You know what? Maybe you should get the number one pick and then aim to get above, the 10th pick. Yeah. Maybe you should aim to be 11th pick, just because you made some improvement, but you're still in the top picks to where you can pick up something that you need, address issues on your team. But that's where I see Cincy. I think if they utilize Joe Burrow correctly, I think Cincy top 10 pick next year. But on the bright side, they'll probably be getting better.
Yeah, I see that. I see them getting better.
It's like rebuilding.
Yeah, like rebuilding, but they have a player to rebuild on. Not too many teams go through that now because they kind of have that transition where they trade or they pick or they have somebody who's been sitting behind their QB1 for a while. But yeah,
you got to consider too, man. You got to consider too, like they have a running back who is dope. They have a receiver who is dope too. Actually, they got two receivers that's dope, right? I think it's John Ross and
they got Ross.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has that platform to begin a good career. You know what I mean? I just don't see the organization and like in the coaching handling that well until the second, third season. You know what I mean? I see him definitely as a franchise quarterback being there for over 7+ years. You know what I mean? That if health works out,
I was just about to say.
Don't
jinx the man. Don't jinx the man.
Football, man. Football is a tough sport, man.
Yeah. It's one of those unknowns, right? Like you can have
like all this big talk, then all of a sudden you get fucked up in your first season.
Speaking of injury prone, the second QB taken in the draft, Tua. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name because I've been messing up. And
Tagovailoa.
There you go. I appreciate that. Tua. So Tua gets picked up by Miami, who everybody thought they were tanking for the number one pick. They couldn't even do that right. So is Tua in Miami a bust, or you think that's the turnaround for them?
Oh man, I feel like.
No, wait. Okay, I'm gonna call Moses out on this.
Should have been called the Buccaneers, man.
Hold on, I'm gonna call you out, Moses, because I know we were slaughtered. I know the Chargers, though. So for everybody out there in the digital world, the Charger fan base here, San Diego, we I know Chargers was slotted to pick up Tua.
Yeah.
If Miami did it, so in that aspect, we were trying to find all the positives into it. Trying to find all the good into it. So I'm gonna call you out. Don't be putting in shame on the boy's name after all the good stuff we were saying about the man. So don't be saying, "Oh, he ain't a good quarterback."
Not at all, man. So I got ties back home who have watched this kid ever since he was in Pop Warner. You know, he used to be a right-handed thrower when he was in Pop Warner. He's over to left. And I mean, he has been plagued by those injuries and stuff. But from what I'm hearing, he's 100%. Like he got hurt and recovered from these as a young man who is able, to overcome these injuries. And that boy can play, man. You watch his highlights. I mean, I would honestly argue him if he didn't have as number one. I mean, 100%. But going to an organization like Miami, I mean, yeah, they had all these picks. You know what I mean? And all
they still got all these picks. Don't they still got like 6 more picks next draft?
Man, I think they're still in the draft.
I think they still drafted.
They're still drafted.
But
they're on the clock right now.
Yeah, they're on the clock.
Like 10 picks in a row right now.
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like they should be way over the hump by now. But anybody that they get, man, is just like Ryan Tannehill was the number 1 pick. And he was a good player in college. And he came in and I mean, he kind of took him. Did he take him to the playoffs one year? He did, right?
The Dolphins? I can't remember.
Actually, no. He didn't even go to the playoffs then. But they have all of this value, man, and they just can't just get it together. So I'm worried about Tua, to be honestly.
I'm gonna be honest. I think
it came. I wish he would have fell to us, but it is what it is. We got Herbert, man. I mean, he's a baller, dude. So I'm down with it.
I think that athleticism is there, right? I mean, that's the thing now with the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes. You need a quarterback that's not necessarily mobile, but just athletic. Not a pocket QB is still something to look for. I mean, you got Tom Brady still in the league, going to Tampa Bay. Obviously, he was very sought out at his age and still being a pocket QB. Not very mobile. We all seen him try to block. But the new NFL, they're moving to this mobile, athletic quarterback. So I think he fits that role. The one thing that the Chiefs have with Mahomes, the one thing that the Ravens have with Lamar is they got people to protect him, and they got people around him so that can ball. And that's the one thing that I worry about Tua in Miami is him trying to win so many games on his own that he becomes that he just puts it too far out there and he gets injured. And being season 1 right off injury, I mean, that's a high percentage chance.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm worried about. That's why I wish that he fell to us so that we could take care of him for a year. You know what I mean? And then put him in a situation. Like, honestly, I want to see him play in his first season, but I don't at the same time, man, just because I'm, worried about the kid's health, just like I'm pretty sure anybody else is,
And and it's hard to see because it's Miami. They're gonna put him on the field. They got no other choice. All right. So now that you're on that third quarterback taken, by the blue and gold Charger faithful. Oh, by the powder blue and gold, by the way, because we got the most fire jerseys in the league this year. Even our color rush alternate, that dark blue with just the gold outlines on them. Fire jerseys.
That's really dope.
We got six different combos. How about that?
We are like the Oregon Ducks of the NFL.
I know, for real. That's why we got Herbert, man.
We are literally the Oregon Ducks. We got as many jerseys as we got healthy cornerbacks. So But Herbert,
For now.
QB3. QB3 Herbert running the show in Oregon. Obviously, Tua fell to Miami, so Chargers pick up Herbert. Obviously, the Chargers lost great Phillip Rivers to Indianapolis. It was a long time coming, I think. Everybody kind of saw the end of the tunnel here and knew that the last year here was going to be his last year in contract. They weren't going to extend him. So what's your guys' confidence on long-term on the team with Herbert or even Tyrod at the helm?
I like so I was watching a few highlights. Like I said, I liked his mobility. It's going to be way different seeing a mobile quarterback like on our team and just being able to move around and have that have the same like big arm too. I'm excited to see him on there though.
I'm excited to see it. I like the big arm. I like the long ball that he got. It's pretty accurate from all the highlights I've seen. But the mobility, Phillip Rivers used to look like he running around with snowboarding boots on, not bending his ankles at all. So, so
in the mud.
In the snow boots in the mud.
Snow boots in the mud.
Just in that quicksand.
But I do think we have two QBs heading into training camp that are going to duke it out, and they both got arms and they both got mobility, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting offseason for us. Not sure knowing who's going to be our starter going into, let's just even say, the preseason, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, as a Chargers fan, I mean, I want to say it's going to be, it's going to be tied, but I mean, with Herbert coming in, that's going to bring, it's going to bring him a lot of competition. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. I mean, these last couple of years have been very, very, very tough on a Chargers fan when it comes to like accusations and free agency and issues with like protecting the ball and so I mean Herbert's a baller, man. Like like you said, he's got a cannon for an arm. He's 6'6". He's mobile. You don't see that, man. So it's something different. And I've been noticing a trend in the NFL when these different styles of quarterbacks come in. They actually, they've been changing the game and they've been changing these defenses and it's been fun. I mean, to see like with the defenses now, you see teams playing like a flex player, and that's kind of like what Simmons is in the draft. Linebacker Simmons. He's one of those flex players that can play safety. He can play outside. He can play inside.
You talk about like the Derwin James.
Yeah, like Derwin James types. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, like, you need these kind of quarterbacks who can see over the top and then being athletic at the same time, run a ball and also throw it. Like, still, he threw it like, I think it was like 63 yards or something like that in his pro day.
In the pro day, yeah. No, yeah.
Just standing in one place. Like,
yeah,
he's got an arm, man. He just got to get the game down, and if he gets that down, I honestly think that we have our future quarterback for the next 14 years.
Yeah, and I think the biggest mistake would be to assume he'd be, for the whole team to kind of assume he'd be QB1, right? One thing you don't see anymore is these great college quarterbacks coming out of college and going into the league and actually sitting a year or learning from somebody, right? But you see the benefit of it. You see what's the boy's name from San Francisco? Garoppolo. He sat behind Tom Brady, right? And actually, when it came down to it, New England was having a hard time saying we're going to continue on with Tom Brady versus let's give Garoppolo a chance. But obviously, New England at the time would have probably righted if the Patriots got rid of Tom Brady. So, end all of end all. Garoppolo went to San Francisco. And look, I mean, not the greatest quarterback, but look what he did.
But what about Rodgers too? Rodgers was an example, no? Didn't he play behind Favre for like
Favre, yeah. I think it was like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah. Rodgers, same thing. You know, they just wait their time. And we did lose him, but Phillip Rivers the same way. He sat behind Breeze. And then Breeze got injured. He just got his chance, right? And it's
when the timing's right.
And it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. Like a lot.
Got his opportunity. Did his thing, man. Did his best.
But he didn't have to learn on the run. That's the whole thing. Yeah. I think a lot of these quarterbacks who come in first year, rookie year, they're QB1, they're learning on the run, and it's too much for them to learn the game to catch the speed of the game that they're currently in, and also learn like the playbook. You know, it's not an easy thing, but So I think Herbert's good. I'm hopeful that the Chargers organization does it right and grooms him to be QB1 of the future. But I'm not.
In Tom, I trust.
and I'm not gonna put Tyrod time out just yet. I'm not gonna close the clock on him. He was a very dynamic quarterback when he was with the Bills.
And you think about it too, man. I mean, like he has been behind a great quarterback mentality for the last couple of years. He hasn't been playing, so of course he's gonna be the underdog like right away. And if you think strategy, he's got a great chemistry with his head coach. You know what I mean? So I think that we have something big in Tyrod, man, honestly. I think we do.
And I think either one of them have to feel lucky that what they're walking into as far as the situation. They got they got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, they got Hunter Henry. They got Eckler coming out the backfield. I mean, just those players alone as a quarterback should make you excited to play the game.
Definitely, right? Have to be, especially being a mobile one too. Like Tyrod is mobile as well too. People don't remember that, man. That dude, he could get off on his feet, man, and he was kind of the Patrick Mahomes, not quite Lamar Jackson type, but he was able to do that. But offensive schemes back when he made the playoffs was a lot different.
Yeah,
and the defensive schemes as well too. So, that wasn't the game plan. But now, I can see Anthony Lynn really changing the course of the offense and the quarterback play to something more relevant. And I see that in Tyrod, and then I see it in Herbert following after Tyrod.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna take it back to the NBA. Recently, last couple of weeks, our dunk contest number 2 twice released a diss track on Flash Gordon, D Wade. Aaron Gordon diss track. First off, you're gonna take a pause here. Let's play the small clip that we can play before we get copyrighted.
Get ready, guys.
9 out of 10, I'ma keep his end. 9 out of 10, can you please fix your lens? 9 out of 10, got you playing pretend. 9 out of 10, here we go again.
All right,
I'm ready.
All right, now let's talk about this diss track. How y'all feel about Aaron Gordon on the mic?
Oh man, I mean, to sum it up, there's only one player who I think solidified himself as a rapper, and that's Dame Dollar.
That's right.
That's Dame Dollar. But I mean, to exclude that side of the situation, considering the dunk competition and what the diss track was about and what his lyrics said. So, put it this way. Like, if it was me, I gave him the first competition, even the second one. When it comes to the dunks, that he did, I honestly think that he got robbed twice. But to take that track or to take that last contest and put it on the track and basically dime yourself out as kind of like saying that I don't care, but look at me.
But here's a diss track.
You know what I mean?
And a video.
I can't fucks with that, man. I'm sorry, AG. You a badass, bruh. You a
Hey, but how long was he sitting on that
probably my
track?
top 5 dunk. Yeah, dunker, but
dunker.
man, stay out of rap, bro. Leave that shit up to Dame Dollar, man. Please. And D-Wade don't even rap. So what is D-Wade gonna do? You know what I mean? Like you kind of looking a little corny at this point, bro.
Yeah, no. And on the corny factor, it wasn't just a horrible diss track. The dude made a horrible music video to go along with it.
That was terrible, dude.
He
It was so cringy.
He could have just released the diss track, which was horrible enough. But he had to go and say this. Somebody in his camp told him, "This is a fire track. You know what we should do? We should make a music video, and we should put that. We should do all this stuff. And if y'all haven't seen it, go watch it. But I don't know who on Aaron Gordon's camp is telling them these are good ideas. But Aaron,
There's a sister.
yeah, Aaron, you need some new people around you that are willing to tell you the truth.
His little sister told him to do it.
But all right, now we're going back to the dunk contest. I'm with you, Moses. I do believe he was robbed. I think
both times.
Both times. Okay. And so actually, I think what was that? The 2016? Was it 16?
Yeah, I think so. I think
we watched that together.
Yeah.
We all watched that. We were up in Temecula, Murrieta with one of the uncle's houses, right?
I think we did.
I think we watched that all together. He definitely got robbed, and this is the thing, and we've talked about this offline, but I think one of the biggest problems is it's round by round, especially for that championship round when it's 1-on-1, and you got the 2 top guys going at it. It should not be 1-on-1.
Yeah.
You should be headed. I think the players should be heading into the dunk contest, that final round, knowing they get 5 dunks. Whoever scores the most points in 5 dunks wins. Now, if all 5 of those from both players are equal in flash and equal in difficulty, and all of them deserve that many points, then yes, I think there should be a round by round follow up.
Yeah.
But one of the things is nobody prepares 20 dunks for the dunk contest.
Yeah, the bag is small.
And you got to imagine, he got to get a couple rounds in before he get up there.
Yes. Sometimes you watch these dunk contests, and when it starts carrying over, to where there's all these they start getting whacked, man. They start.
And you know what it is, too, is the exposure of amateur dunkers just doing the craziest shit outside of the NBA. Man. And then it's so available now that when you see like a dunk contest, like when an NBA player is doing it, it doesn't hit you as much. The wow factor isn't there.
Yeah,
you've seen crazy shit. You've seen a guy go between the legs twice and reverse that shit. Like,
yeah, I know. Behind the back, between the legs, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I think you've seen it all. Dude.
It's like the evolution of hops. It went through the roof, man. I mean,
yeah.
I remember as like a little kid, like talking about, like playing basketball on the court, like talking about, like what if I went behind the back and slammed it like that? That'd be crazy, dude. That'd be the most violent.
Yeah. Or you trying the most?
Seeing that shit, man, is like amazing, dude.
Or you trying the most extra shit when you're doing a layup when you play in the game of horse, you know?
Jelly.
You like bouncing off the ground, off the backboard, catch it, flip it around, and then try to make a layup, you know?
Not even touching the backboard or nothing.
Yeah.
A quick layup.
I'm height challenged, so I grabbed the net and I pulled myself up.
Shit.
It hurts the fingers though.
Yeah, no, that's how you build the calluses. That's how you build the calluses.
But hey, I totally agree with that though. Like need to find a way to eliminate having to throw in these extra little dunks, like.
Well, and it's doable because look how they changed the format of the All-Star game and the main All-Star game. They changed the format to where the last quarter, you got to score, 24 points, and that was this year, and they said it was to honor Kobe or whatever. But I think it's a good format. I think it brings out the competition.
Very well. Yeah, it worked out very well. I thought so because at first, honestly, I was like, that's not a real game though. And then when I started seeing the competition that unfolded throughout, the game, that is what I wanted to see as a basketball fan,
Yeah, and you're seeing the starting five play a good 30, 40 minutes in that last quarter. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. That was a fun game to watch.
It's like that old school
ones in the past years.
Definitely.
It's like that old school ball where you play it on the court. You play, the last game before everybody leave, and your first 1 to 7 win by 2, and it's just back and forth, right? You're up to 20 versus 20, and everybody's grinding out, tired, and it lasts like an hour. But I think that was a good format change, and I think they should keep that. So I think it's doable to say something like the dunk contest could accept a new format change. And you don't got to call it like the Aaron Gordon rules, but I think it was a long time coming. I think it's hard for people who are going to participate in it and say, I'm going to come up with 15 good dunks that I can pull off. Because, let alone being winded, that's just hard to master 15 dunks before the dunk contest.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And once again, Aaron Gordon's a badass dunker, man. Sorry ass rapper though.
Sorry ass rapper, top dunker. We got it.
Hey, you can't have it all, dude.
You can't have it all.
All right. And so, like every episode, we're gonna play a little fun time here. We're gonna do a little game time, Dame time. All right. So we gonna play since Michael Jordan is the focus of the Last Dance documentary and kind of what everybody's been talking about the last couple weeks. We gonna play who would you pick in their prime versus prime to see Michael Jordan take on one-on-one.
Oh man. Shit. Besides Kobe, I'm gonna say Pippen, man.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say Pippen, man. I think I'd have to see that.
You think
closure.
Jordan?
I think I need Jordan.
Jordan prime versus Pippen prime. That's a one-on-one.
Yeah.
1-on-1, 21, 1s and 2s. You win by 2. You think that's a good matchup right there?
Yeah, I think so. I honestly do.
I think it depends on what year Pippen, prime Jordan is probably prime Pippen. Think about it.
That's what I'm saying. I think that would really be an interesting matter. You know what I mean? Because prime Pippen is an injection from Jordan. You know what I mean? So there's some mental games that Pippen knows about Jordan that other players don't,
Hey, that's true. That's very true. You play with somebody so much, where they're going, where their favorite spots are.
Yeah.
You know how to get in their head. You know how to annoy them.
You know where it's at. So
yeah. No, that's a good pick.
Besides Kobe, I would say that.
What about you, John? Who you got?
Man, besides Kobe, God, I couldn't really, just for the fuck of it, I really can't, just size-wise and athleticism-wise, one-on-one, Westbrook. Just to see, where Westbrook's speed and athleticism goes, on a one-on-one against Kobe. Against Jordan, because that's
that's the best. Yeah,
dude. That's a freak in nature, dude.
Jordan is the greatest of all time. Westbrook, though, that he is quick. He's quick.
His
first step, gone.
I It'd be a close game. I think Westbrook will come close. I can't say he beat him.
I don't think he beat him, but to see what goes on in that game as far as like what moves you're busting out, like
they backing out of the range, you know.
Just checking the ball in, like where you gonna be at?
Because Westbrook comes in like a freight train, man. That dude.
And it's not just his first step. His first step is quick, but that first 3 steps, if you aren't in front of him, if you're not in front of him, if you.
But I was saying just because as good Westbrook is offensively, Jordan is defensively.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of like that matchup because Jordan ain't no slouch when it comes to playing D.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It'll all be.
He's hard to burn.
Yeah.
He's hard to burn.
Well, that'll be a nice matchup.
Definitely.
And so for the word out there watching or listening, I gave the guys an impossible task because I told them that I would take Kobe, so they couldn't pick Kobe. I definitely thought one of them was going to say LeBron, but Easter egg, I said Kobe because I didn't want anybody to pick Kobe because that's an obvious choice. Even Jordan said he'd have trouble against Kobe.
Yeah.
But
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, everyone would love to see that. But my pick, I'd actually like to see AI. Prime AI versus Jordan. Jordan got the D.
Ooh.
AI got the handles, and they both got a jump shot that would just murder people. So
that speed though.
And you're talking about
that'd be different.
You talk about refined game, which is Jordan. You know, he's a NBA player all around versus raw street ball, like one-on-one. Some of the NBA stuff don't come in handy, you know. And I think that's where AI, that dog mentality, that raw talent, that raw street ball skills. I think that's where kind of the equalizer between them two. So
I can see, man. That'd be something else, man.
I've been a Laker fan all my life, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't an AI fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got to be, man. Got to be the dog.
Yeah, yeah, and anybody who don't put him in the top conversation of point guard,
no, that's
out of their mind.
I mean, growing up, AI was my Jordan. You know, growing up before Kobe and after Jordan, AI was my Jordan. That was my. Even though he didn't get a ring, but he pushed it. He pushed the envelope like pound for pound. Pushed that envelope.
Pound for pound, he's up there, bro.
One of the best players to ever lay it down.
When it comes to pound
trend,
for pound.
You know, he set a trend. You know, he said his thoughts in his head. You know, he's one of those kind of players, man. That's it. And he took beatings, man. I don't think people realize that. Like when they talk about that practice, you're like, practice? You talking about practice? There's a reason why he didn't practice, because imagine all the freaking bumps and bruises that he got from driving in the paint for a little ass dude like him, you know. So,
and I think
and he came out every game and gave it his all.
And I think what a lot of us in this era of basketball looked up to AI was, you know, it was that culture that we were all growing up in, that street culture, that street ball, that, you know, we don't got 10, so we gonna play 4.
Baggy shorts,
Right, you know,
the phrase.
You know, and you know, almost always hip hop and NBA are synonymous with each other, but I think AI really bridged the gap to say, you know, hip hop is NBA is hip hop and vice versa.
That's right.
And
100%.
And you know, I always admire the man, because even now you see him at games, he dabbing up everybody. Respect
everybody.
Players.
He's the dude. He's a good uncle.
He earned that shit. He earned that shit.
And everyone pays him respect just as he does everybody else. And
he's a Snoop of basketball.
Always relevant.
Always relevant.
Forever.
Whatever generation he shows respect.
And now he's a pioneer with Cube with the big 3 and all that, you know.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That's another thing you got to look at too. He's like actually part of that. Like he was a player and now he's a coach now. You know what I mean? He was a player and a player's coach, and now he's a coach.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
Crazy.
His body was too jacked up, man.
So I think beyond all the sports debates of Kobe and Jordan or LeBron and Jordan, I think those are actually the probably top 3 picks to go take on Jordan one-on-one to watch that.
Definitely. I would love to see those, man. I would love to
those
see
matchups would be like the best.
Yeah. Would y'all
They
want
need
to
to
see
do one-on-ones actually in the All-Stars, bro?
That's what I was gonna say. Would you all watch a one-on-one?
I'd love to see that.
100%.
I've been wanting to see that shit.
Honestly, I think that would affect the actual postseason games as well too.
It would.
That'd be matchups to think about. Remember when he when he took so and so to the rack and all that. Like he got him back in this game in the middle of the postseason. He had 76 games into the next season. Paybacks and that fucker.
And it fires some people. You imagine getting shown up on the one-on-one, but then the playoffs, you gonna give 120% to try to guard him, just so that everyone knows that one-on-one was a fluke, right?
Yeah.
Until you get smoked again, like you did in the one-on-one competition.
No, yeah. I mean, there'd definitely be some repeats of what happened on one-on-one, but I do think it'd be interesting to see, and I think it should be a one-on-one competition take place over the 3 days of the All-Star.
Yeah.
So
do it on a Sunday.
If you in the one-on-one, you just ain't in the main game, right?
True. Yeah.
All right.
That's
all right.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are. Maybe you are. You're just off of the bench. But I think one-on-one would be a beneficial add to the All-Star game. All
maybe
right.
Take out all of those little dunks you got to do in the dunk contest, and add in the one-on-one.
They could shorten down how many people are in the dunk contest, but
seriously, honestly,
they could. Because Dwight Howard in this last one was nonsense,
Yeah,
and it's like the who's who. Like the first people are like, who? Like
exactly. Yeah.
Most people ain't even watching that first round.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's great.
Dude that brought the airplane out, like what? Like like I understand historic wise, I liked it, but it's you have to have done something more creative than that.
Yeah. I know, right? What the fuck?
All right, so we gonna end up here. We out of time. We pushing the 1 hour mark, so I appreciate y'all getting together. Like always, this is John. This is Moses. This is Chris. We come at you from Randomville. Hit us up. Go ahead and hit us with your handle, Moses.
At Cathartic with a K, 87. Moses Smith. You can probably just look up. It'll pop up. Follow me. I don't really post much, so don't be crazy about me. You know what I mean?
All right, John. What's your TikTok?
Dancing Queen.
All right, if y'all don't know, don't follow John.
I might give it up one day.
Yeah, one day we'll keep y'all posted. We'll keep y'all posted.
Throw a celebration.
Y'all can follow me at Cash Exploit. Combine 2 words, 1 E. Hit me up on Instagram. Public profile. So just follow me. Also follow at True Island Nobility. That's where we're posting all of our content. Any kind of links or any of that. Also follow at Randomville, California. That's our podcast. We're gonna be posting there short videos. Get at us. All right, y'all. Have a good evening.
Good night.